Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to What the Papers Say with me, Deek Jackson, on Wednesday, the 26th of August, 2020. Today's paper is The Independent. Again, I won't make my usual remarks about how independent it is, because it should be obvious to anyone that newspapers are not independent when they are in fact full of commercial advertising, such as this double-page spread for the Land Rover Discovery. That's got to cost a lot of money. I don't mean the car, I mean the advert. So of course any newspaper that started saying consumerism is pish, sleepy shoegazer, good morning, and we should abandon it for some other way of life, wouldn't be in business much longer. So yeah, whatever. Anyway, the headlines. The headlines today. Face masks in school next week in Scotland and England, if we're to believe the leak or the mood music coming out of Downing Street. Now, I don't know if American schools have even gone back or what the government's plan is for schools. I imagine it's left up to Sandy McNabb. It's not left up to you, but good morning. I imagine it's left up to federal state authorities, as they have a more federal system. This is beyond lunacy and fascism. In fact, instead of face masks in schools next week, it should be fascist nappies. Fascist nappies in schools next week. I had to do some Googling when I read this, just to reacquaint myself with the fact that no one has died in Scotland from coronavirus for weeks. I swear. And in fact, the stats are on my phone, which is filming me, so I can't look at them. So off the top of my head, from what I read, the following seemed to be the case. There's one person in intensive care in Scotland with COVID. That doesn't mean they're in intensive care because, it means they're in intensive care because they fell out the ambulance after their car crash and they happen to have coronavirus. They tested yesterday, or the day before these tests, these results were released. They tested 17,000 people in Scotland and found 44 people tested positive. That's 0.9% of a sample population with COVID. That's pretty low. I would venture that if you were to take 17,000 people in Scotland and ask how many people had a third nipple, you would get more, statistically speaking. So, let's go over these figures because they may be somewhat confusing. Massive testing, low number of cases, no deaths. Compulsory face mask wearing in schools. The feardom is reaching new heights. One can only wonder why they want us to be so afraid. I am sitting right outside Greg's, okay? I'm sitting right outside Greg's, and so I'm watching people arrive with their masks on. They've already got their masks on. And if they haven't, they queue up to put them on before they go in. It's unbelievable that people are buying this shit, and it's somewhat disturbing. Because while I was picking out my newspaper, I couldn't bring myself to buy some of the other newspapers because they're just such pish. But I noticed that was a paper I hadn't seen before. It was called The New European. Now, there was a newspaper called The European in Britain, but obviously, since we voted to leave Europe, that as a business model became a bit untenable. So I thought, The New European? That's interesting. And I picked it up to have a look. And I, licked my fingers and I leafed through a couple of pages just to convince myself it was indeed full of pish. And then I put it down. And the woman who was looking at papers next to me started tutting and mumbling, touching newspapers other people are going to buy. Oh. And she walked away in a tiz. These are the kind of fascist little Hitler fucks who are going to try and run your life from now on. The people who comply with this pish on face masks in schools, the people who are wearing masks in shops, even though it's not the law. They are the people who are going to force you to comply with the pish and feardom. Farted next to her. I wish I could just squeeze them out on order. I might have sharded and then had a personal hygiene emergency in the middle of Tesco's. That would be no fun. Well, that's a lot of rubbish. In Britain, Home Secretary opposes more painful tasers, as if being tased wasn't painful enough. Police will be issued with new tasers despite concerns bystanders may inadvertently be hit because they are less accurate than previous ones. Ow. So whatever you might think of, Home Secretary Priti Patel approved the use of Taser 7, hailing it as safe and effective tool for apprehending criminals. And yet, at the point of arrest, Priti Patel, I'm sure as the Home Secretary you're familiar with the law. At the point of arrest, you're not a criminal. You can only be a criminal once you've been successfully prosecuted. So when the police service of this country, the people who provide the service of policing us, are apprehending somebody, they're apprehending Thomas Clark. Bonjour tout le monde à tout. Ici le Grand-Bretagne à droite. So, Priti Patel, when the police are apprehending people, they haven't been convicted. So they're not criminals, they're just members of the public at that moment. The police are agents of the court and wish to detain them. Où est la fenêtre? The police wish to detain people in order to bring charges against them and have those charges judged in a court. They are not criminal when you're tasing them. And anyway, isn't it a little bit cowardly of the police using a taser? I mean, shouldn't they really be getting in there with their knuckle dusters and truncheons? And also, would you prefer to be beaten with a truncheon than tased? I'm not sure. Let's see, electroconvulsive therapy or brain injury. Where are those black horses? Yes, I'm not sure. I think I would... Oh, man, it's a tough one, isn't it? Tase or beat. I guess it depends where they're going to beat you. When they tase you, you know you're getting the electroconvulsive therapy. So I think I'd have to take the beating. Maybe they'll only break my arm or something. Anyway, Manchester United captain and the world's most expensive defender, Harry Maguire, England defender, has pledged to clear his name after being found guilty of aggravated assault, resisting arrest, and repeated attempts of bribery by a Greek court. Anyone familiar with the story will be aware that he was in Greece with his brother and his girlfriend having some drinks, and something ensued. He was arrested, blah, blah, blah. So Maguire's lawyer told the court that Maguire's sister, Daisy, was injected with an unknown substance by two Albanian men, which caused the fracas. And he said the player was kicked in the leg by Greek police officers who told him, "Your career is over." And subsequently, Maguire has pledged to clear his name after he lost the case. And as he's the world's greatest defender, you'd think he would have put up a better defence. Boom, boom. So I'm not really usually interested in football spurt stories, but if you're planning to go on a Mediterranean holiday and get drunk, do watch out for people with syringes injecting you with stuff. And also, if you're planning to stay here in Britain and be sober, do watch out for people planning to inject you with stuff. You just never know when that shit's going to happen, do you? Oh, walk-in test centres to open after spike in cases. Scotland's coronavirus testing capacity is to be increased so we can find more people who don't have it. Additional capacity will be introduced at NHS Scotland facilities, including drive-through testing facilities in the Greater Glasgow and Clyde area. Drive-through. Now, how long before the drive-through test is compulsory? How long before your roadblock, checkpoint, roadside service is a compulsory test, and upon you testing positive, you will be forced to quarantine, isolate, and wear a nappy. How long? I mean, I'd give it a couple of weeks. Yes, drive-through testing to find even more cases. And the test kits, by the way, the test kits, there have been multiple occasions where tests that have been used have been shown to provide false positives and or false negatives. So how useful is it to use a test which may or may not be accurate and then determine somebody's freedom on it arbitrarily? Apparently nobody gives a fuck. Apparently nobody gives a fuck. There is a demo in Edinburgh this Saturday. There's a no mask demo in Edinburgh this Saturday, and I would like to go, but it depends what time it is. I have a gig on Saturday in another place, but I would quite like to go to that. So if anybody is listening to this is in Scotland, I urge you to go. I may or may not be there. Two more cases of coronavirus reinfection reported in Europe. A patient in the Netherlands and another in Belgium have been confirmed as having been reinfected with the coronavirus. Reinfected. So having had it didn't give them immunity, and therefore if a vaccine is a small dose of what made you ill, it's unlikely to make you immune either. So why bother spending all that money or making me take it? Just asking. Scientifically speaking. Some people get reinfected with stupidity. Some people become stupid and then they go, oh wait, I was being stupid for a while, and then they descend into stupidity again. And I'm not sure how the people of this country are going to fare should they get, if they are continuously infected with this stupidity. But their stupidity is becoming a kind of fascism, which I cannot bear. That's to say that I won't be complying, obeying, or going along with your pesh. So there'll be no roadside test for me. There'll be no mask anywhere. Rate of teen pregnancies hits record low. Scotland's seen the lowest rate in teenage pregnancies since reporting began. Wow. Decreased from 87 per 1,000 to 56. In the least deprived areas, the rate dropped. That's least deprived means wealthy. In the wealthiest areas, the rate dropped from 21 to 12 in 1,000. Mr. Fitzpatrick credited Scotland's pregnancy and parenthood in young people strategy with helping to reduce the rate. The rollout of family nurse partnership. I think the morning after pill is probably getting the credit there. That's what I think, because it's been available in Scotland for, I think, decades now, and it's widely postered and touted, and I think gone are the days. I'm pretty sure they are gone when people just wanted to get pregnant and have babies, get a council house and play mom and dad for the rest of their lives. I think that piece of cultural modelling is slipping away, and that even young girls can see a future of, video gaming and Twittering and Instagramming that's far more alluring and attractive than wiping arses of babies and cleaning, changing nappies. So is it a cultural shift? Or is it a shift in public health policy? Answers on a postcard, please. No deal Brexit. 2020 seems bad, then 2021 may soon start to look rather daunting. This is from a paper called The Grocer. I've never heard of it, but then I'd never heard of the New European. The Grocer appears to think it would be a bad thing if we left Europe without a deal. However, I should declare, I voted in the Brexit referendum to leave, and I didn't vote for a deal. I thought leaving was no deal. I thought if we leave Europe, bye, goodbye, we're not going to be in Europe. Why would we want to have a deal? Having a deal is being in Europe, isn't it? That's what we just had. We just had a deal with Europe. We'll make our stuff compliant with your laws. We'll enforce your workplace practices. We'll share our fish with you. We had a deal. I don't want a deal. I don't want any kind of deal with Europe. None at all. I don't even want a deal. I don't want to deal with my government. Never mind your government. In fact, all government can fuck off. I don't want to deal with your government. I vote for an autonomous zone of independence at my house. Trumpeting the economy puts Trump at risk. It's the economy, stupid. Will this rescue Donald Trump? The famous phrase coined by Bill Clinton's strategist. Now, it is true that American elections are more decided on how people feel economically than any kind of scandal or reputational politic or negative ad about the incumbent or the opposition or anything like that. At the end of the day, Americans have a pragmatic self-interest that is reflected in their voting patterns. So yes, it is the economy, stupid. And the economy in America, I was saying yesterday, the FTSE and the Dow Jones, they're all back up. America's having a kind of V-shaped recovery. And the American economy went down like real sharp. And it would appear, depending on certain graphs, to be going back up at a similar speed. However, as I also covered yesterday, this is mostly down to a tidal wave of money that was printed to reinflate the idea of a functioning economy. So if that turns out, if the bubble bursts before Trump comes up for election, it may not be so good. Communication vital for getting through this crisis, whatever the crisis is. I guess it means the coronavirus. And this article comes with a nice picture of someone being injected in the arm. And I think it was Marshall McLuhan said, the medium is the message. And often I think you can just look at something. You don't even have to read it. Or, you don't have to read the whole thing. Communication is vital for getting through this crisis. Picture of someone being injected in the arm. What they want to do is normalize. They want to normalize the idea of you being injected by the government on a wholesale mass scale. They really do. And articles like this purporting to be from concerned medics, that, it really would be the best thing if we all just rolled up our sleeves and took the goo. And that's what they wish to communicate. It's for your own good. No, sorry. What I mean is it's for everybody else's good. No, sorry. What I mean is it's for somebody's good, but we don't really know who. But just do it anyway, because otherwise these people will make you feel uncomfortable and they'll apply their fascist herd mentality to you with their tutting and their nose turning and their peer pressure. Fuck them. Machine that can help read our dreams on the way. Picture of 9/11 there. Man, you couldn't fucking... Speaking of the communication thing, machine that can read our dreams on the way. Picture of 9/11. Why do they want to read our dreams? Isn't it bad enough they read my email? Now you want to read my dreams? Whoa! I'd be careful what you wish for there. But also, the first thing I think upon reading that headline is, how about a machine that can read their dreams? How about we read the wet dreams of the people with control, influence and power, and not the dreams of the the masses, the people swimming in the river, being swept downstream. What do they dream of? What do I dream of? I can't remember. What did I dream of this morning? I quite often have really good dreams. I do. I can't think of a bad dream, a dream I haven't liked in a long time. It's been a while since I've dreamt that I could fly, but I remember the last time I did, and it was awesome. So yeah, I don't want you to read my dreams any more than I want you to read my emails. But if you do have a machine that can read people's dreams, I think we should use it to read their dreams, not my dreams or our dreams. Trump is the bodyguard of Western civilization. Is Western civilization the kind of policies and culture that Trump enjoys, espouses, and wants to see pervade America and the world? Is it? Perhaps it is. Perhaps that is Western civilization. Perhaps Western civilization is Walt Disney, Coca-Cola, McDonald's Happy Meals. Perhaps it is an endless tirade of advertising to screw you for slightly more of your money for a corporation. Perhaps that is Western civilization. Perhaps Western civilization is deforesting the planet to supply a plastic wrap on your fucking Happy Meal. Perhaps that is Western civilization. And perhaps Trump is its bodyguard. However, I should just like to make a couple of observations from this article. First of all, Donald Trump Jr. has demonized Joe Biden and painted him as a horrible left-wing socialist who would heavily tax America to pay for his programs if elected. Biden has promised to take money out of your pocket and keep it in the swamp. And he calls him the Loch Ness Monster of the swamp. Okay, so on the other hand, Donald Trump approved trillions of dollars of debt for the American people. Trillions and trillions, so many trillions. I've lost count of the amount of trillions of dollars of debt Donald Trump got the American people into to bail out corporations. Not people, not to help Americans, families and individuals, to bail out vast, faceless corporations with your money that you're going to pay back so that they could go Hawaiian at the shareholders meeting. So, you know, really, that's the argument there seems to be the pot calling the kettle money printing. I don't buy it. And I urge you not to either. Vote none of the above. Oh, Israel bombs Gaza Strip. Again. That's what it says. I'm not even making that bit up. It says Israel bombs Gaza Strip again. Because, like, you know, fuck, it's not even news, is it? It would be news if they weren't bombing it. Or one day you'll wake up and there'll be a headline in a newspaper that says, Israel not bombing Gaza today. Israel's military said it had bombed the Gaza Strip yesterday in response to incendiary balloons launched into southern Israeli farmlands a day earlier. So this is the equivalent of murdering somebody because you know, they flicked cigarette ash on the road next to you. These incendiary balloons on farmland, they are a desperate, almost sad attempt by the people of Gaza, Hezbollah, whatever the crazy Muslim jihadists are that are doing it, to make it look like to themselves and to the people that they rule over that they are some kind of functioning military force. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. Incendiary balloons. The blockade on Israel has been so the blockade by Israel on Gaza has been so successful. They can't make rockets anymore. You know, I don't think they could make a catapult. So what they've got is incendiary balloons. I'm not even sure what it looks like. A birthday balloon with a box of matches tied to it. Meanwhile, Israel is dropping high explosives from factories in Scotland, actually. I believe we have a bomb factory in Glenrothes in Fife who sells bombs to Israel, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia for their war in Yemen, directly from Fife. We're the good guys. And so people of Gaza being bombed with 21st century F-16 warplanes for launching a child's birthday balloon at Israel. How dare they? In fact, it's kind of weak and pathetic from both sides. It's kind of pathetic of Israel to feel the need to bomb them for such a thing. I think they should stand next to the border with Gaza, shrugging their shoulders and going, we're not bothered. That was rubbish. Appeals for reform in broken Beirut are falling on deaf ears. The same politicians whose corrupt and negligent behaviour caused the disaster in Beirut are negotiating amongst themselves to form the new government. It's the old new world order for the people of Beirut. No kidding. And you and me. Whenever you think anything's going to change, just reacquaint yourself with the unlikeliness of that. Cardi and Meghan are not the first women to sing about sex. Now, I've sort of heard about this, but I haven't heard it. A single that's very explicit about sucking cocks has apparently been made and released. It's called WAP. They released it earlier this month, and they sing about the kind of sex they enjoy. Extra large and extra hard. Swipe your nose like a credit card. I'm not sure about that bit. But anyway, apparently they like sucking extra long, extra hard, extra large cock. Criticism has been fierce. Californian Republic congressional candidate. So he's nobody. That's nobody. This is a nobody. He's not even an elected. This is just a person. Californian Republican congressional candidate. Candidate. You're nobody. James P. Bradley tweeted. That's nothing. But this is journalism from your swivel chair. This is rubbish journalism. They didn't even leave their computer screen to concoct this pish. Oh, let's paste some tweets in from, let's see who can we find. Oh, he's a candidate in a congressional blah-de-blah-de-blah. This is pish journalism. All right, let's see what P. Bradley tweeted. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are what happens when children are raised without God and without a strong father figure. And the song made him want to pour holy water in his ears. Why? Why would he want to pour holy water in his ears? Why can he not hear a woman saying she would like to suck a cock? What's going on in his head that he can't hear that? And what about the strong father figure mention? That sounds a little bit sleazy, doesn't it? A bit like Donald Trump saying, I'd date my daughter. These women need a strong father figure. Then they wouldn't like sucking cock. They would hate sucking cock. Sucking cock would be a bad thing for them. I'd make sure of it. Yeah. Even Russell Brand. Wow, remember him? A man who once boasted about having sex with 3 women a day and won Shagger of the Year, waded into the debate to express concern that women cannot achieve equality by aspiring to and replicating the values that have been established by males. Did males establish that women might like sucking cock? I'm confused, Russell. Did males establish that women might like sucking cock? Did they? Was that established by men? I think we should let women decide what they like to suck and what they want to sing about. I'm a big fan of free will. So, and as it turns out, would you believe it? I mean, I already knew this, but there's a long tradition of salacious lyrics in songs. The dirty blues, it used to be called. And in fact, the whole rock and roll means sex. The phrase means sex. Popular music is riven and you could say partly driven by young people's wish, desire, need, whatever, to express the exploding hormones within them, whatever. So anyway, in 1935, an explicit version of a song was recorded by Ma Rainey. And I quote, "Your Honour, Ma Rainey's song contained the following salacious words. I got nipples on my titties big as the end of my thumb. I got something between my legs, make a dead man come." Make a dead man come. Good luck with that. There's also Bessie Smith. "Kitchen man, anytime he wants, he can use my sugar bowl. His jelly roll is nice and hot." You know, that's not even that dirty. Trixie Smith. "My daddy rocks me with one steady roll." That's not that dirty either. "Anybody want to buy my cabbage? I mean, really. Press my button, ring my bell. I'm a 1 hour mama, so no 1 minute papa." Decline that call, and I will try and wrap up and phone back because that's an old friend. So let's just, I did see something in the business pages that I thought was interesting. Tesla batteries to improve by 50%. Tesla CEO Elon Musk suggested that he will be able to mass produce batteries with more energy density in 3 to 4 years, which could enable electric aeroplanes. All right, I won't be getting on an electric aeroplane for one reason. Where do you recharge that as you're flying along and it starts to run out of juice? You park it on a cloud? No, I won't be getting on an electric plane anytime soon. And also, in order to forestall that emergency, are these electric planes going to have normal engines anyway? In which case, what's the fucking point? Right, well, that was what the papers say. A load of pish and bollocks. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. I'm gonna.